What is going on? Yeah, it's been a depressing week. I was gonna come here hype, try to be hype, but we lost, bro, and we lost ugly.
It was hard to come here today to record the show, honestly. I don't know what they have in Boston.
There's no sightseeing to be done there.
Bro, they got Harvard and stuff.
When your infamous thing is Harvard, you got smart people at least.
Also, I had some pretty fire TikToks, though, this week.
They set the bar too high. I know I'm the one who sets the bar. You didn't make the cut. Welcome to the 6th episode, season 2. I'm Javier. This is Danny.
What is up?
What is going on? Yeah, it's been a depressing week. I was gonna come here hype, try to be hype, but we lost, bro, and we lost ugly.
It was bad, man. It was just so boring, man. It was boring. The quality of play was bad. It was just not a fun. It was hard to come here today to record the show, honestly.
Yeah, it was very hard to put on this shirt right here. It's Hawaiian night here. You could tell I don't care. I'm like, it's Hawaiian night, whatever. We'll make it work somehow. But this episode we'll go over Houston. We'll talk about a big matchup, New England. I think this is gonna be the test, but we'll talk about that.
Do you think New England is like our rivalry, like the biggest rivalry we have?
No. I mean, you can't say that. It's got to be the Red Bulls.
The Red Bulls? Yeah, but the Red Bulls like aren't good. Like the thing is,
yeah, well, when they beat us 7-0, that was a thrashing that they probably want to keep talking about.
That's true, but they're not beating us in the playoffs because they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. So like, I don't know. I think it's like up there. It's like New England, at Philly, New England, Red Bulls.
No, it's Red Bulls, Philly. And then New England, you could go Atlanta, I think. Nah, Atlanta. No. I mean, because they beat us a couple times in the playoffs.
That's true. Exactly. The playoffs. Those are real teams. Teams that make it to the playoffs and win games.
We have a shiny trophy that the Red Bulls don't have. So we'll keep harping on that. Yeah, so let's get into this Houston Dynamo game. Sadly, I don't want to talk about it.
Can we just talk about being the Red Bulls and them not making it to the playoffs more?
That'd be great. I mean, I think they actually have a shot though this week, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the Red Bulls on a City Boys show.
All right. So Houston Dynamo, we lost the game 1-0. We lost to the score that Houston Dynamo made was off a penalty kick. After VAR play reviewed Gray's quote unquote foul, and they called it a penalty. Did you think it was a penalty? What was your thoughts on it?
I unfortunately think it's a penalty. The only reason I think it's a very soft penalty. I think it was, but there was still contact in the box. So it's like, I mean, if it went the other way and I was a Houston Dynamo fan, I would have been like, that's a penalty. So if it happened to New York City, I think I would have felt the same way. Like that. I mean, yes, there was minimal contact, but there was contact. But I think we have to talk about what led to that, because there was a major discrepancy. Like, I just felt like we weren't moving the ball. We had a lot of turnovers in the backfield. And it was Santi did a soft pass to Kean Parks. Kean Parks gets the ball turned over, and then it's a straight opening for Herrera, right? I think he scored it. No, who got the penalty? I think it was on Herrera. Who got fouled?
I think it was Herrera. I don't remember 100% honestly, but let's say it's Herrera.
Okay. But I think it's a foul. Do you think it's a foul?
And sadly, I do think it's a foul too. I just don't understand really why it got reviewed in the first place, because it didn't look like a foul when you were watching the play. And so I thought, what made them bring it up to VAR? So that's kind of what threw me off a little bit, but it's hard to say that's not a penalty kick. It's just the softest penalty that I feel like I saw. Like when you saw the replay, it looked like he hit ball, but I understand why you shouldn't be tackling in that situation between the legs. You know what I mean? That's kind of what happened with Thiago Martins a long time ago, and
Yeah.
last year, and it was the same exact call.
This is what Nick Cushing had to say about the penalty.
I think it's really soft. I think there's a reason why he didn't give it in the moment, because it's not a penalty. It's really, really soft. And if we're going to decide football games on those decisions, then the game should be a draw. The performance can be better for us, and we can improve in many areas, but the game should be 0-0.
Damn.
It's a tough one. But I mean, regardless, if you want a 0-0 game, that's not what we wanted out of our team, right?
Agreed.
And I think we have to go straight into what was our problem. So if you didn't know, Chanot was on international duty, wasn't playing the game. So we had Sand start in the back. Now that led to a midfield that produced nothing all game. We cannot get out of the back field. And Sands was, unfortunately, we had Alfredo Morales in Sands' position, which then centrally we really were not effective, and then it just led to Gabriel Pereira getting doubled on the sides. Like, there was just, if you look at like the whole lineup, there was nobody who like you could say had a great performance, I would say, other than maybe Sands.
Yeah. And I think what I was most frustrated about was how far back our
Back line. Oh, our front line was.
Our front line was.
Yeah.
Like, I saw Talas Magno and Santi Rodriguez behind Parks and Morales. Like, they were just so far up.
Well, I think we were struggling though to get past our side of the pitch. So it's like, all right, let's bring some players in to finally free it up a little bit. But yes, then there's no danger coming over the top on any of these guys.
Yeah, and then you have the center backs of Houston also, pushing in, and then you have less space. So there was no threat, and it just left the game so compact, and we never got to like the other side of the pitch for the majority of the game. So I get that Talas Magna likes to go back, but I don't know if that was intentional by Cushing or if that was just what those players did. But you got to stay back, man. You got to pretend there's a threat. Let the midfield do what they're doing. Let Kufre and Gray try to get the ball to that side of the pitch. To have them all move back just made it felt like they were scared.
I'll move forward, right? Forward, back. No, I'm getting confused. Yeah, I mean, I just felt like we were struggling to get out of the our side of the pitch, and it was clear. And I think them trying to move closer, Santi trying to open something up. But what I'm disappointed in is like Alfredo Morales. I was like happy to see him start. And then I felt like him and Key and Parks just weren't connecting. Like, we could not get the ball out of the midfield, like with fluency, with transition. And one thing we should mention is after the PK, so we allow the PK 30 seconds later, Santi has a dangerous opportunity to score. It was him one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and then he kind of tried to kick it over him, and then it was out of it wasn't in line with the goal. So I mean, we had a shot to make it a 1-1 game, and I think that was our most dangerous threat of the whole night.
And that wasn't even a shot on target. I just want to throw that out there. The only shot we had on target was by Tavon Gray.
Yo, how much money would we have won if we placed that? That would have been plus 7,000. Tavon Gray only shot on goal.
That was insane, man.
But yeah. It was sad to see. It just was a lackluster performance. It was boring. It wasn't fun.
There were other people complaining in the Twitterverse about like, I'm done with Talas Magno. I don't feel that way. I don't love the way he played that game. But what are your thoughts on Talas Magno? Do you give up on the 9? Is that just an overreaction? Do we just get over this game? And I just want to throw out there before you answer that question is like, consistently every season we have these games that are just like the worst games of the season, and I don't know how we could be any worse than this. So I left that game and thought maybe we just say this is our stinker for the year. We have 2 stinkers. I think we always have every year. This is the first
we have
one.
Like 4 or 5 on the road. I don't know what happens to us on the road. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if we're tired. I don't know. It's bad. I don't know if Talas is not wearing his drip, so he's not feeling himself away from home. But Talas is dominant when we're in New York. Well, not dominant, but you could tell he has more of a swagger. I think he's like, he just came from Times Square to come to the NYCFC game. So I don't know what it is, but yes, we're lackluster away from home. And it's been a consistent problem. But yes, I think, was Magno the problem? Yes, but I think we had almost everybody was the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like you look at the front six and it was like, yeah, those guys really didn't perform. And I think Santi kind of disappeared too. Other than that one major shot, I don't think Santi had a great game.
Yeah, because they were all back. They had no chance of threatening the defense. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't get what that game plan was. I hope they never run that game plan again. And
Well,
it just want to throw out there. It just shows how important Chanot is to this team, though, because Chanot being gone was just such a night and day performance from the week before.
Yeah, I think another thing to add is that Nick Cushing didn't feel comfortable with starting Alfaro to play in the back line. Because, I mean, if you think about it, if Alfaro was ready, then you could have had Sands where Alfredo Morales was, and maybe the game would have been a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where that stands for Alfaro, or I don't even know if I'm saying his name right.
I always thought it was Tony Alfaro, but I could be wrong.
No, Alfaro, that sounds right. Then, so that's an issue.
Yeah.
Because then we don't have as much depth as we thought we did at center back.
Facts.
Wow, thank you for your insight, bro. But we talked about basically all the positions, but we still have to go back to the goalkeeper. And I think this is one where like I'm actually like this might have been the game where the tides may have shifted and we might see Freeze coming. Do you feel that way?
I didn't feel that way. I mean, I think he gave up a goal and it was a penalty kick goal. And those are extremely difficult to block as a goalkeeper.
But are you not saying he wasn't struggling throughout the rest of the game? He was struggling. There was a chance, I forget what minute it was,
there was,
where he did a clear turnover and it was an open net that he could have scored.
Yeah.
That the Houston could have scored. So that's a clear mistake. And I just felt like he was not finding the right options. When he tried to go over the top, he wasn't accurate with his passing. It just didn't gel. Like I thought he struggled big time. And this is, if you look at FOPMob, his score was 5.6. That's a 56%, bro. You ever did that bad in school?
I did. Math was not my strong topic.
Bro, you were in banking.
Where I am in banking. That's why we got Excel. But I mean, I don't think he played well, but the rest of the team played so poorly. And I do think that the formation we were in was new to him, right? If you notice, every time he had the ball, Sands was right to his left. Gray was right to his right. And so it was a different formation that he's used to, that he's probably adapting to. And I think I think our formation that game was like it was 3 in the back versus typically we play 4 in the back.
Yeah, it looked like 3, sometimes 2 in the back. It was interesting.
Yeah. So I think it was different for him, and he's still a young goalkeeper. And so my thing is, I don't know if as a goalie defending shots, I think he did well. I agree he did not do well distributing the ball, but we have no evidence to know that Freeze could distribute the ball any better.
But it wasn't even just that. I mean, we're talking about, remember later in the game, like towards the end of the game, he also left an open net that could have been a very dangerous goal that could have been scored against us.
Okay, but he didn't give it away. I just want to throw that out there. And it was the end of the game. The game ended 10 seconds later.
He got caught in the middle of the midfield instead of being he was super out of position, and it could have been a dangerous goal. And those kind of mistakes will mess us up in the future.
Okay, but at the same time, it was like actually 10 seconds left in the game. The goal is to get the ball back and try to score. If we lose 2-0, what's the difference?
And what if he gets a red card in that situation? Because he was so out of position.
Oh, then we see your man Freeze play. You're so excited about seeing Freeze play.
Talking about Freeze. Coach Joe, actually, he did a tweet, and it's if there was he's like, if anybody thinks of conspiracy theories, this might be one. And it was NYCFC posted a picture of Matt Freeze today instead of Barraza at goalkeeper. So we might be seeing Freeze sooner than later. I
believe in you, Barraza. I still think we ride Barraza, but sounds like you feel differently.
I'm skeptical after this game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think he performed well. Granted, we didn't have Chanot out there, but I don't think this was a high quality performance from him.
There just wasn't a high quality performance from anyone on the team, so it's hard to be like Barraza was the problem on this team today. Yes, maybe he didn't help, but the whole team wasn't meshing. And it's because we lost Chanel because we were playing a different formation. So to me, I still think we ride the Barasa train. Also, he's not giving away a lot of goals, which I understand. He's not distributing the ball well. But my whole thing is that Sean Johnson did a horrendous job distributing the ball consistently. And we love that guy. So
you're saying he's not giving up a lot of goals, but he's gotten 1 clean sheet this year, bro.
Yes, but
your point is not making any sense.
Numbers don't speak for it. He has had huge saves for the team, and a lot of the goals that have been given away, you'd be like, what goalie could have blocked those? And we're watching every game. We're here talking about it. Just last week, you're like, nah, Barasa's on fire. And all of a sudden, he gives away one penalty.
He had a bad game.
He had a bad game. You don't take out a goalie for a bad game. I just don't think so. And when we say a bad game, we're saying he still didn't give up a lot of goals. I just want to throw that out there. He just had a poor performance distributing the ball, which was very poor. I agree. Very poor.
Well, he could have allowed 2-3 goals, but that's for another day. I think we're gonna see. I honestly think we're not gonna see Baraza start next week. I honestly feel like this might have been the nail in the coffin. And I mean, he was if Matt Freese doesn't step it up, then I mean, it couldn't go back to him. But let's talk about Richie Ledesma.
Who was he out there?
He did.
I'm joking. Yeah, he didn't do anything either.
We didn't even talk about so NYCFC signed, if nobody knows, Ledesma joined, the guy you've been talking about for weeks now.
Yes.
Are you hyped? Did you like him? Did you see something out of him? I think it was too soon, but what do you think?
I honestly didn't see anything out of him. I think they brought him in there because they said this game is a disaster. Maybe he brings a spark. And I didn't see that spark from him, honestly. You know, I remember the first time I saw Santi, I was like, oh, I text you. I don't know if you remember. I text you and was like, this guy is something else.
Yeah.
And same thing with GP when we first saw him. The same thing for Thiago. You just saw that spark. Ledesma's young. It was a terrible game for the team. I didn't see anything special from him that day, but I think you can't judge him off that performance. What did you think?
I think it's early. One thing I would think is just a criticism to Nick Cushing. Why weren't there more subs early? We were so lackluster that first half. Get Ledesma out there at the 45th minute mark, right at halftime. You know, get Thiago in there at the 45. Like, let's see these guys burn. You know what I mean? Let's get some action, because right now there was nothing. It was so lackluster from the team. And yeah, I wish we could have seen more from Ledesma, to be honest, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see next week, because before we move on from this game, Santi Rodriguez gets a careless foul during that PK. He gets not a foul, a yellow card, just for complaining to the ref. But he was nonstop this game, complaining. Is this an issue?
Yes, I've been saying this every week since he's come back, which has only been 2 weeks. But even on the off season, even when we signed him, my first tweet on the City Boys Twitter was like, "These refs are gonna be scared now that he's coming back." My man needs to grow up. This is what I was trying to tell you 2 weeks ago when you're defending him. Santi is a DP player. My man needs to act like a DP. He's still acting like he's not worth a ton of money. And if you're going to sign him for this big contract, he's got to be the grown-up in the room, man.
One issue that I have is who was wearing the captain armband last week? Thiago Martins.
Yes.
Thiago Martins was one of the other players complaining to the ref during that PK. If you're Thiago Martins, you need to pull Santi aside and be like, yo, chill. So ownership is Thiago Martins too. If you're saying you're the captain, if you're saying when Chanot's not there, I feel like I'm the captain, I should hold this captain armband, then you need to put Santi in his place. You need to say, Santi, chill out. We're good. We still have a lot of game to play. So I think there's some ownership to be said about that as well. Like, we have captains that don't feel like captains at times. I think Chanot would have probably addressed that, but I don't know. It's just disappointing to see. And Santi, there's a maturity level that I feel like isn't still there. And I think you have been complaining all week about it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He's a little chirpy. But when it actually affects the team and when it actually affects you starting next game, then we have a long-term issue.
Agreed. And that's a good point about Thiago Martins. He should have stepped to the side. But he's not really the captain of the team. I think you have to give the armband to somebody.
So who would you have given it to if you don't feel like he's really the captain?
Keaton Parks, probably. I think Keaton Parks just has like that cool head mentality, man. And he complains and he steps up for his team, but at the same time, he's level-headed. So I would have given it to Keaton Parks. Although half the team don't speak English.
That would have been tough.
Not the right.
Yeah, starting 11 matchup preview. We're getting into New England Revolution.
Okay. Oh, but I just want to say, but I think, Keaton Parks could have been like, Gamate. He could have at least said that. I think he knows a little bit of Spanish.
I don't know about that. Maybe we'll interview him in Spanish one day and just see his face.
See him whip out the Duolingo.
All right, so we're playing against the New England Revolution. They're top of the East, bro. They're dangerous.
12 points, 4 wins, 0 draws, 1 loss. Not a good time to play them after our horrendous game.
And we're playing them on the road, which we suck.
We do suck. It's gonna be interesting. What I did look up was New England has been playing better at home this season, and they're averaging 2.25 goal points per game. That is good. No joke.
They're scary, bro. That means they're dangerous on the attack.
They are scary.
Who are their dangerous attackers?
Carlos Gill, Mr. Gill himself, and I always say this dude's name wrong. Bo.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Bo has consistently been a pain in the ass for us, and he is playing pretty well this year. So I think it's going to be a tough game for us, especially with what was I going to say? With us just playing really poorly away. Have we won an away game?
No, we have not. Did we win an away game? Why are you gonna ask me that? And I don't know.
I don't know.
I will say, so I'm looking at who they played previously. They played DC United. We beat them. Nashville, they beat them 1-0. So we lost to Nashville. Los Angeles, they got destroyed 4-0. So, but they beat the Houston Dynamo 3-0. So it just says we are struggling.
Is it just me or Pereira hasn't had a good game in like 4 weeks, bro?
I wouldn't say 4 weeks. We've only played 5 games, bro. Okay, and he's had a couple
3 weeks. No, but seriously, like I think since that really nice strike that I think he's had a goal in the first 2 games or something of the sort. Since those first 2 games, he's been extremely quiet.
No, I agree. He has been quiet. But is it his fault or is it because we don't have enough dangerous weapons out there to free him up? You know what I mean? Or if they're willing, like I felt like against Houston, anytime Tallis got the ball, he was marked by like 2 guys. Like it just, there was nowhere for Tallis to go. I feel like they made it their job to mark Tallis and say, hey, make sure you're following him at all points.
Yeah.
So is Pereira having those same struggles? Are they seeing him as one of the dangerous guys? And it might be because Pellegrini is not the dangerous guy, right? I don't think you necessarily get scared by Pellegrini out there, and you feel like you can mark more Magno and Pereira.
Yeah, playing away after a horrendous game against the Dynamo. We are not favored, surprisingly. We have a plus 220 to win the game. It is plus 230 for a tie and plus 110 for New England Revolution to win the game. And the over 2.5 is negative 104. So if I had to take one of those bets, as we talked about, New England is scoring like 2.25 goals at home, which is not 2.5, but I'm hoping we score something on our end. So I think if you had to take one of these bets, the lock has got to be the over 2.5.
I think that's a fair bet. I think that makes sense. But you know what? I'm feeling it, bro. NYCFC win plus 220. You get a nice, pretty. When are you going to get NYCFC plus 220? That's nice, bro. Early season. We're back in New England. We destroy these guys in New England, bro. Playoff game. Callens is gonna come back out of nowhere. Nah, I'm joking. But we're gonna. I think we could pull it off. I think the boys really want to bounce back after last week. I think it's time for us to show that we're a dangerous team on the road, and we make something happen. And I think this is the game where we can make something happen, and we'll win this game. Final predictions. I'm going 2-1. I still like your over. That's why. So I'll go 2-1. Free starts. He lets it one go. He's a little rusty, but we're still win 2-1. Tyler scores, and Pereira's back on the scoring sheet as well.
I'm gonna go also 2-1, but I think the Revs might end up winning this game 2-1. And I hope we see Barasa out there. Although I don't want to give up 2 goals, but I think that's what the score is going to be. I think best case 1-1 draw, which is what I called. I called the last game a draw. It should have been a draw if it wasn't for that soft penalty
why do you
kick.
always? Oh, okay. I thought you called it and then you didn't bet it, because you always do that. You're like, this is my bet, and then the week happens and then you don't take the bet. It's like, bro, then why'd you say that was your bet? From now on, keep him honest.
I'll put up my FanDuel bets on the show.
Yeah, you have to, bro, because I don't trust you no more, bro.
All right, 2.5. That's my lock.
We got a new segment for you, TikTok's best moment. So these social media admins for these MLS teams have been hot fire. They're feisty this season, bro.
I'm liking it, man. It's making it, it's building storylines. It's making it like real rivalries, and having, that type of content during the week is nice.
Yeah, I like the fieriness. And this one comes from Seattle Sounders. If you didn't know, Jordan Morris scored 4 goals against KC. And this is how the fans reacted. Yeah, they were feeling fire. It's so good.
Also, from making TikToks, I know it's not that easy to add all those hearts.
Yo, your heart game is fire, bro.
Yeah, bro, that took a lot of work. So appreciate the effort you guys did.
Yo, shout out to that. But I love the guy at the end. He's just smiling like, you did good job, bud. Our next one comes from New England. New England, they're just saying like, I want to enjoy DC. This is all the sightseeing you could do at DC, and this is how it went. So they were feeling fine.
That's cold. That's cold. But also, if we win next week or against them, we're making that same video.
I actually like that. Yo,
here's a little Boston. I don't know what they have in Boston.
There's no sightseeing to be done there,
bro. They got Harvard and stuff.
When your infamous thing is Harvard, you got smart people at least. All right, and the last one comes from the Chicago Fire. They TikTok is probably ending soon in America soon, so let's take advantage of it. And this is their theme as well.
I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for a short video, if you don't mind. With that, I yield back.
First of all, fire. Second of all, I so badly wanted to use that. You had no idea. I had it loaded on my phone. I was watching the game and I was like, oh, as soon as we score, I'm putting this up. I'm going to be so quick with this. No, we didn't score though. So they stole it.
We yield back. I love the ending. We yield back on using this as well.
Also, I had some pretty fire TikToks though this week that they didn't make it to the top 3. I'm a little offended by.
Bro, you have to they set the bar too high. I know I'm the one who sets the bar. You didn't make the cut, all right, bro? Next time, work a little harder on the TikToks. I need you to work a little harder if you're gonna make it in, right?
No love on the show. No love. Also, one last thing before final words. I guess this could be my final words. Who did play well was Gotham FC, man. This, I think I've heard What you hear about other women's sports is like, oh, women can't dunk in basketball, so it's not as entertaining, or like women's baseball is like underhand pitching, so maybe it's not.
Softball.
It's like softball, so it's not like the same. But man, watching that soccer game, LA versus Gotham FC, I was just like, this game, the quality of the game was actually really great. Way more entertaining this week than NYCFC. And then also just like a tough game. Lynn Williams had a broken arm. She had an air cast, and then she had bandages over the air cast, and then scored the second goal.
That's badass.
And then in the interview afterwards, like, is your arm broken? She's like, I think so, but I don't need my arm to kick a ball. Bro, how tough is that? Talis Magno be shooting a shot and then be like limping halfway. He's like, nah, I can't.
Why you gotta hate on our team though? You got hype up Gotham, but you don't gotta hate on our team.
I'm just saying, it was a great game to watch. I needed an upper after that game, and Gotham set up. I just hate that they have New Jersey in their name, bro. It just breaks my little heart.
But they have / New York.
I know, but they gotta put New York first, bro. They put New Jersey and it messes me up. It's hard to appreciate them.
But it's nice to see them. I'm actually more excited for their season. They got storylines for days. It's gonna be fun to watch them play.
Let us know what you guys think, man. Maybe we'll call this the City Boys NYCFC / Gotham FC City Boy show. Because we want to talk more Gotham FC. I really enjoyed watching them this week.
Not like we're already struggling to make one show. This guy wants to make 2 shows. All right, y'all. It was nice seeing y'all.
All right, peace.